All right, today we are going to talk about the final project, the movie poster. So with the movie poster, what you're going to be doing is you are going to be coming up with your own original idea for a movie. And what we've got here, a couple examples that we're going to look at. We're going to talk about how we're going to go about creating all this. So first one is the Snare Witch project. Now for any of these, what we're going to do is on the back side of your thumbnails, we are going to come up with the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how for your movie. So for this particular one, we have the who is a witch, Nicolas Cage, cop number 1, cop 14. What, it's a horror movie, so what kind of movie is it? When, is it in the past, is it in the present, is it in the future? So this one's in the present. Where does it take place? Is it in space? Is it in a city? Is it a town? Outside, inside, in a car? This particular one is in Spesterton, a town in Spindiana, so completely made up. And next we have the why. So the why is what happened for the movie in order to be able to happen. So the why is cop number 1 and cop number 14 are chasing a witch and Nicolas Cage. Why Nicolas Cage? I don't know. The how. The witch gets caught in a trap, and the cops catch her, and she and Nicolas Cage are burned on a post. Kind of gory, but it could be interesting. They might be able to get out of this. So we take all of these ideas and go on the front side of your paper. We look to see, okay, so here's the Snare Witch. She gets caught in a trap. And we've got over here, and then on this side, we've got kind of a similar idea, concept, but it's a different type of trap. So it's a net in between two trees instead of just getting caught by the foot. Either one of these would work. Combination of the two, maybe you take the way that the title is done on this side, and you add it over here onto this one instead. So it's kind of a combination of the two. But we always want to come up with two different ideas because your first one generally, or not generally, but might not be the best idea. So you don't always want to go with your first thought on this. Okay, so what we need to have with this, is we need to have the title nice and clear so we can read it. So this one is The Trail of Chocolate Chips. It's about people that get kidnapped, and then the one that finds everyone, she leaves a trail of chocolate chips. Okay, this one is The Space Rat Race. Now with this, you've got all of our information here. It is about a young rat that is inspired by Sandra Bullock and gravity and gets caught in a storm of cheese asteroids. And then the how is she clings aboard a Swiss cheese and uses his tail to propel him back to Earth. Doesn't have to make sense, but as long as you have a beginning of the story, you have a middle of the story, and an end, that's all that matters. So this particular one, we've got the thumbnail here, and we have the final copy. So on this, we can see the title is up here. It's kind of tricky to read. So if we're to do this over again, this would be bigger, nice and clear, because ultimately, you want the crowd to be able to see what your poster is about. And that kind of gives them an idea as far as what it is that they're going to see. Okay. So we've got Ramrod, kind of a Super Trooper spin-off. So we have Ramrod and the sunglasses that all the troopers wear. And you've got mustaches here, different noses, and different mustaches. This is all going to blend together into one thing. So it's kind of a combination of the two characters. And here we have the chase. This is one that I've done. First idea was interesting. Didn't want to have to deal with silhouettes and stick figures, so I went with the second concept, which is the chase here. You can see where I've used the colored pencil to try and figure out what colors I wanted to use, because that's what a thumbnail is for ultimately. So here is this version of it, and here we've got the pencil drawing just to see the different steps, and then here is the final version. So on here we got the title nice and clear over here. We don't have a specific date, but it's coming soon. We've got the rating down here in the corner because every movie needs to have a rating. Okay, so we want a full color action going on here. We use the entirety of the page well. So this is kind of what we're looking for. Now we've got Remember Me. Two different concepts here. And this particular movie was about a girl that died, and it was her ghost coming back to see how her family reacts to her being gone. So here's the final version of that. Worked out well. A little bit scrunched on the page here, but there's all things that we need to talk about. If you know you have a letter at the beginning and at the end, put those in first. Make everything else fit in between. All right. So I just kind of go through these real quick. This is the tribe, an unknown civilization on an unknown island. That's kind of tricky to read, make that a little bit bolder. It worked out a lot better. Got Cabin in the Woods, or Cabin in the Mountains, based on Cabin in the Woods. But all of our information is down here. Who's in it? Kristen Stewart, Channing Tatum, and Cody Scheider. We've got Wrecked, kind of based on Castaway. Scruffle's Big Adventure. I don't know what his adventure is, but based on all this, it looks really happy-go-lucky, but it's rated R. So something goes down. We don't know what it is. A Dog Who Got Away. Spoilers, this dog came back. Okay. Camp Sunshine, kind of creepy movie. Morse Code, kind of based on Gangnam Style. I believe this was supposed to be Channing Tatum there. Go to Sleep, kind of a Slender Man movie. Follow, a movie, army movie. Sleep Tight, kind of somebody coming into your room at night and watching over you. We got The Secret of the Forest, kind of Little Shop of Horrors feel going on. We got Point of View. It is about a ballerina that goes off to the city, or a little girl that goes off to the city and sees her ballerina and she brings her snow globe back. Space Invasion, kind of based on the Space Invaders video game. We've got 60 Seconds, kind of with a Matrix kind of feel to it. And then Splash. This was a documentary that this person did. It was about a person going swimming to the Olympics. Now, when we go to do this, okay, we have some options. You can work with some people. So this particular one here was part of a trilogy. So this was the first one. There was one that was here in the middle, and the person kept that one. I forgot to take a copy of it. That was my fault. And then we have the third one over here. So the first one was Papa Panda. And this story, it had its own story, start to finish. Okay, if I remember right, the story was that Papa Panda and all the little panda cubs are coming to get revenge over their mom being murdered. Okay, not the most happy story, but even worse is that at the end of this, Papa Panda trying to avenge Mama Panda's death, he died. So there was the second movie was Junior Panda, who was Junior Panda and all of the kids coming back to get revenge for killing Papa Panda. And bad times happened in that because all of the kids got killed except for Junior Panda. And so in the last installment of the movie, we have Junior Panda Returns. Each movie had its own individual thing. It had a story that was start to finish. It was interesting. Just like your Iron Mans, where you have 1, 2, and 3. Each one is its own story, some less interesting than others. But it's still, you had the entirety, it stands alone. Now, I like to use this because before you go to put any color down on a page, you always want to have somebody look at it, somebody that's not working near you, that's not used to looking at it. Because do we have Junior Panda Returns or Junior Panda Returns? They forgot to put their R in there. So you always want to double check, have somebody look at it, make sure that everything is going to work out the way that it needs to be. Now, when we're working with this, we're doing a couple things. So we're going to have our thumbnail. We're going to draw out 2 rectangles. And within these 2 rectangles, this is where we're going to get our ideas down. We want to make them a little bit smaller than the page itself, so that way if our idea runs off of that rectangle, we can still work with it. If we work all the way out to the edges of the paper, we're kind of stuck with that, so we can't really make any adjustments. So we're going to use this, and we're going to get our ideas put out in here, all those ideas that we've filled out with the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how. We're going to take that, we're going to get an image together, and that image is going to come onto this page. Now, with all of that information, what we're doing is we're going to be making a story. And with that story, what we're going to be doing is we are going to write that story. So and from that, we're going to have a beginning, we're going to have a middle, and we're going to have an end. Okay. The reason why we want to do this is it's just a little bit of adding some English into our story or into our art, because we use art in all of our other classes, so we want to kind of bring that into this. Our story needs to have a beginning, it needs to have a middle, it needs to have an end, like I said. I like to think of it as if you are telling somebody about a movie, you're not going to give them all the details, you're going to hit the bullet points. These are the characters, these are this is what happens, and then this is how everything gets resolved. So that's what we're looking for, no more than a page. Okay, so it just kind of brings all of this stuff back together to get us back to that story and that movie poster. We want it to be vertical because that's how movie posters are. We want it to be nice and clear how the title is. We need to have a rating down here somewhere on the page, and then we need to have a release date. Having the actors on it, you don't necessarily need that. If you want to put them on there, you can, but it needs to make sense. All right, so when we put those ratings on there, we're going to use the MPA guidelines. So we don't need to have all of this extra stuff here. We're just shooting for the G, the PG, the PG-13, or the R. You don't really want to do any NC-17s because that's a little bit too much for our younger viewers. So we can do an R because you can go with your parent. So we want to have this look, this font. Okay, so good luck, and hopefully you come up with a great idea.